Hello everyone, Siri Emerald here, and this will be my review of the Iron Man 3 Mark 9. You get the MMS, I think it's 311. So, of course, I love these Toys box cases. They have a cover, keeps them pretty much dust free. You do still get some dust in there, plus because it's not completely sealed up, you're not going to get a dust free environment. But it's, I mean, for the most part, it's covered up pretty good. And you have a cover that goes across. And it kind of looks like, it makes sense. It's what an Iron Man display should be, in my opinion. And it'll hold all the figures except for the 38. It holds the 25s, it holds the 35. Now, if you remember, the Mark 9 is, a lot of people consider it a repaint, but it's not. It is a different piece than the Mark 20. It's not the Mark 20 Python. I went over that on my unboxing of this, the different pieces that this says that the Mark 20 has. The way of thinking of practicality, the Mark 9 would actually be the ancestral piece of the Mark 20. So in all actuality, Tony would have progressed through the figures. Well, they wouldn't have been figures through the suits. The Mark 9 would have come way before the Mark 20. And so he would have built using the Mark 7 chest, and then he would have made a brand new head for it, because this is the first time this specific head is used, is the Mark 9. And he would have made brand new legs, because this is the first time that this pelvis area and legs are used. Not the Mark 17, the Mark 9 actually is. So this truthfully would be then the ancestral piece. So you have the inherent problems that the Mark 7 has, which is this rubber piece here. And the only problem with it is that you have to make sure that you don't pose it in a position where it's constantly bent, because of the fact that it's made of that soft pliable rubber. It truthfully could crack and break and in time. So I've seen the video. I think Denobi2 put some Honda grease on there to keep it lubricated. I have not put any on there, but his advice is to do specifically that to keep it from breaking down. Another thing is just to keep it in a position where it doesn't move much. Because this figure is from the Mark 7, and that might be where some people complain, because it does use the figures that have already been used. But the good thing is it does come with all the neat little features that the Mark 7 has, which are, the interchangeable chest armors. So you can pull this off right there to be able to get to display the inner mechanisms there. And in addition to that, these pieces come off right here for the same reason, or so you can display it without it, and that's on both sides. And in addition to that, put that down there. These pieces are interchangeable. You can take this piece off and put on it the rocket piece, and not only interchangeable with the pieces that came with the unit, but interchangeable with the other figures that use the Mark 7 pieces, that being the Mark 21 Midas, the Mark 20 Python, any of the Mark 7s that have that, and including the Battle Damaged and the Mark 7 Stealth, the chocolate, and of course the original Mark 7, as well as this piece right here, which is the back flap, can come right off as well, and it's interchangeable with the missile pieces, or you could put the smooth shoulder piece on there as such. On the back then, we have all the neat little air brakes that are on here. So this one flips up like that, and then this one flips up, and it goes to the same height. This one doesn't lift up higher. This just lifts up to that same height that would be at right there. And then you have these that flip up as well. Now you have in here the little metal grills, but the metal grills they're not hinged. They don't come out like some of the others do, the Mark II, the Mark III. They can actually be hinged out of there. So these don't hinge out. They're attached permanently in there as such. And in his articulations, he has the standard articulations as the Mark VII. His arm can go up and down. It can twist in the joint there, and it can twist in the joint there. As the hands, you have articulated hands in addition, which are neat because you can bend them into various positions to get him to do whatever different hand positions or to hold things. For instance, if you wanted to hold his helmet, you can do that, or anything. A sword, I suppose you could put a sword in there if you wanted to use one of character's swords, or a pistol or something. Anything I suppose you could put in there for that. The hand and the wrist guard are separate on this figure, so you want to be careful when pulling these out that you don't break this right there. Although I've never had that problem with this figure. The chest and the waist you just pull apart like such to be able to improve your mobility of the figure, and then you can bend him more so than you could without it being pulled out. So he doesn't bend much. He does twist quite a bit, which is good. You can twist him quite a bit. Oops, that piece just likes to keep falling off. Look at that. So you can twist him quite a bit to get a pretty good exaggerated pose if you need to. Let's get that piece back up here. The little pieces here don't come off. They're not interchangeable. Now I can guarantee you, if you feel so inclined, they can be pried off if you wish to put another piece on there to interchange with a different version of Iron Man figure. It can be done. It is the exact same piece as the Mark VII, the Mark 21. You surely can do that if you feel so inclined, but it's not designed to come off. So something to know there. And on his hips here, you can pull down the hip, such. So you see how you can distend his, or extend his socket there. And what that enables is the ability to be able to move his leg further than you can without it being extended. So that's as far up as it goes in the normal position. And then with this being extended, it goes up that much. And backwards, goes back that far. And normal goes back that far. So there's not much more extension in the back, but there is enough to make a difference for different poses. Especially if you're trying to put him into the three-point pose, you would need to be able to move him around in order to be able to do that. And so he can be put into a three-point position here. A pretty good one, actually. It's not really that bad of a position. I'll show you how that looks standing on that. It's not a bad three-pointer, really, considering. He probably, gosh, I don't know. This may be better than the Mark 42's 3-point position, truthfully. So that's one of the cool things about him. And by the way, these flip up out of the way in order to be able to do that right there on the side. So let's put that back up there like that. And his knee bends. It has 2 joints there. So the first one bends like such, and then the second one takes over and bends the rest of the way, giving it a pretty good knee bend. And this actually folds up out of the way there, right there. That's pretty cool. And its feet move back and forth, and they'll go left and right, and his toes go up and down. So when you put him into that 3-point, you can really bend that back, or you can put him into a position like such. Or when you stretch his legs out, you can bend those like such. And he can spread his legs pretty wide, actually. He has a very wide jump there. So, right there too. That comes up also. So, that's pretty cool. Now, the one thing he didn't come with that, geez, this piece, why am I having such a problem with that? I didn't even touch it. It'll just be a lucky piece for me. I'll do something about that. What I'll probably do is put a little super glue either on the tabs or in the holes to make it a tighter fit, and that will keep that from popping out like that. We don't want to glue it together. All we want to do is just close up that hole a little bit by either making the hole smaller or by making the tab thicker, and that'll build up that tab to keep that from popping in and out all by itself, or just quit touching the figure. One or the other. So the only thing this didn't come with, and I wish all of them did come with this, was a Robert Downey sculpt. That's the only thing that I regret whenever they come out with one of these without a Robert Downey sculpt. And sure, you can say he never wore the armor in the movie, so that's why it didn't come with it. No big deal. He built the armor. I'm sure he wore it at least once. So on the Mark 33 head, in order to change out the batteries, you have to pull up the top here, and the faceplate doesn't come off. To do that, the switch is in here. So if you ever want to put a Robert Downey Jr. head in here, you have to disassemble it. You have to pry off the faceplate, cut out the inside, and then put a Robert Downey Jr. head in there. And then you have a Robert Downey Jr. head in a Mark 9. And you put your magnets, or well, you put your metal in here. You have to cut out the little back area here for this. So this gets a little ugly on the inside because it wasn't designed to be displayed, but it'll sit up on here with the magnets on the head. You can display it on his head as it should be, and of course you can close it up as such. So I still have a Mark 9 perfect head, and now I've customized a Mark 9 Tony Stark head to go in there as well. So as he sits in his display case, I display him with the helmet. If you happen to be reenacting the figures, if you're making your little videos or whatever, and you want to have a Tony Stark helmet, there it is. Because Tony would have worn this. So there you go. Tell me what you think of this figure in the comments below. And follow me on Facebook at Siri.Emerald, at Twitter at Siri Emerald. Subscribe to my channel, like my videos. Give me some thumbs up. Talk about this figure with me. And thanks for watching, everyone. See you on the next video.